Hey everyone, all in Arrowhead here. Week 4 was a whirlwind. The Seahawks pulled off a game-winning field goal to edge the Cardinals. The Giants shocked the league by upsetting the previously undefeated Chargers. And the Texans shut out the Titans 26-0 in a commanding performance. The Eagles held on in a tight battle against the Buccaneers. The Patriots dominated the Panthers behind a strong showing from Drake May. And the Lions overpowered the Browns to stay in the mix for the NFC playoffs. There were plenty of standout individual performances, clutch plays, and defensive showings that turned the tide in several games. My record isn't as good as last week, as there were several games I could have chosen more wisely. This week, 4 teams are on bye: Atlanta, Green Bay, Chicago, and Pittsburgh, giving the rest of the league an opportunity to climb in the standings and shake up the playoff picture. From high-profile London matchups to primetime Sunday night football, every game feels crucial, and we're starting to see which teams are trending up and which still have cracks to fix. Quarterbacks are under pressure, defenses are hungry to prove themselves, and momentum is on the line in some must-win contests. Let's get into the games! San Francisco enters this battle licking its wounds after a gut-wrenching 26-21 loss to Jacksonville. That game was a bloodbath in errors. Brock Purdy threw 2 interceptions and also fumbled late in the fourth quarter. Meanwhile, Jacksonville turned an 87-yard punt return touchdown by Parker Washington and multiple forced turnovers into a lead they never relinquished. On the Rams side, they came into Week 4 with something to prove and did just that, knocking off the previously unbeaten Colts 27-20. Los Angeles leaned on a clutch interception by safety Cam Curl late in the game, while Stafford and Nakua linked up for multiple big gains that swung momentum. So for Week 5, you've got 2 teams each showing different versions of themselves. One that can outlast you in close, and one that beats you while you make mistakes. If the 49ers can clean up turnovers and stay poised, they'll compete. But I've got a feeling the Rams, with swagger and late-game confidence, will pull this one out. Rams to win and go to 4-1. The 49ers fall to 3-2. The NFL returns to London with a matchup between the Minnesota Vikings and the Cleveland Browns. In Week 4, the Vikings fell 24-21 to the Pittsburgh Steelers in Dublin, Ireland, with Carson Wentz throwing for 350 yards and 2 touchdowns, but also taking 7 sacks and throwing 2 interceptions, including a key late pick by TJ Watt. Despite the loss, Minnesota showed resilience with late touchdowns from running back Xavier Scott and wide receiver Jalen Naylor that brought them within striking distance. Meanwhile, the Browns were dismantled 34-10 by the Detroit Lions, with Joe Flacco completing just 16 of 34 passes for 184 yards and 2 picks, while a 65-yard punt return touchdown by Khalif Raymond and a strip sack by Aiden Hutchinson led directly to Detroit's scoring surge. Both teams are looking to rebound, but the Vikings have shown they can make plays in high-pressure moments and have more consistent offensive weapons. I'm picking Minnesota to win, moving to 3-2, while the Browns fall to 1-4. Dallas walked out of Week 4 with a 40-40 tie against Green Bay, a back-and-forth overtime marathon where Dak Prescott kept the offense alive with over 300 passing yards and multiple touchdowns, but the Cowboys' flaws were hard to ignore. The offensive line struggled to hold up in key spots, the defense gave up repeated big plays to Jordan Love, and the inability to finish drives late cost them a chance at the win. Without their top wideout in the mix since Week 3, Dallas has leaned more on its depth receivers and tight ends while trying to find balance with the run game, and while it's kept them competitive, it hasn't delivered consistency. The Jets, meanwhile, remain winless after a 27-21 loss to Miami, where Justin Fields flashed for over 200 passing yards and a touchdown, but was undone by turnovers and stalled drives. Miami's defense bottled up New York late, while Devon Achane gashed them on the ground to put the game away. For this matchup, the Cowboys' ability to spread the ball around and keep Prescott upright will be the difference, and their defense should find more success against a Jets team that can't stop beating itself. I'm picking Dallas to grind out the win and move to 2-2-1, while New York falls further behind at 0-5. The Giants are riding the momentum of their first win of the season, a 21-18 upset over the Chargers in Week 4, where rookie quarterback Jackson Dart accounted for both a passing and rushing touchdown, and cornerback Drew Phillips returned a critical interception 56 yards to help seal the victory. Though the team did suffer a major blow with wide receiver Malik Neighbors going down with a likely season-ending ACL injury. The Giants' offense showed resilience and adaptability, balancing the run and pass effectively, while their defense capitalized on turnovers at key moments. The Saints, by contrast, remain winless after a 31-19 loss to the Bills, with Spencer Rattler throwing for 220 yards and 2 touchdowns, but also committing 2 costly interceptions, including one during a failed trick play. The Saints' defense struggled to generate pressure and failed to contain Josh Allen, leaving them vulnerable to explosive plays and unable to keep pace in key drives. Looking at this matchup, the Giants' confidence and opportunistic play give them the edge over a struggling Saints squad. And I'm picking New York to win, moving to 2-3, while New Orleans drops to 0-5. The Raiders are looking to rebound after a heartbreaker against the Bears, where Geno Smith threw for 275 yards and 2 touchdowns, but also had 3 interceptions, including a late-game pick that sealed the 25-24 loss. Rookie running back Ashton Jeanty was a highlight with 155 scrimmage yards and 3 touchdowns, showing the Raiders can generate explosive plays, but the offense has struggled with turnovers and sustaining drives. Defensively, Max Crosby has been a force, recording pressures and an interception, yet the secondary allowed several crucial third-down conversions that kept the Bears in the game. The Indianapolis Colts also faced setbacks, falling 27-20 to the Rams in Week 4, where Daniel Jones threw for 262 yards and a touchdown, but lost 2 interceptions and a key fumble by Adonai Mitchell at the goal line, negating scoring opportunities. The Colts defense played well early, containing Matthew Stafford for stretches, but late breakdowns in coverage and missed assignments led to the Rams' comeback. Looking at this matchup, Indianapolis has shown resilience and balance on both sides of the ball, and their ability to protect the football while making plays in critical moments gives them the edge. I'm picking Indianapolis to win, moving to 4-1, while the Raiders drop to 1-4. Miami finally broke through for their first win of the season, knocking off the Jets 27-21 in a game where the offense showed some balance. Tua Tagovailoa looked sharp with 2 touchdown passes, Devon Achane ripped off chunk plays in the run game, and Darren Waller made key catches in scoring situations to keep drives alive. The defense also stepped up with timely stops, clamping down on New York's late comeback attempts. However, Miami lost Tyreek Hill for the remainder of the game with a dislocated knee. Carolina, meanwhile, was completely outclassed in a 42-13 blowout loss to the Patriots. Drake May picked their secondary apart with efficient passing. The Panthers' defensive front struggled to generate pressure, and even special teams failed them when they gave up an 87-yard punt return touchdown that put the game out of reach. The contrast here is stark. Miami has speed everywhere and finally played a complete game, while Carolina looked overwhelmed in all 3 phases. If the Panthers can't control the line of scrimmage, the Dolphins' tempo will wear them down quickly. For Miami, it's as simple as sticking with their speed-heavy attack and keeping Tua upright. Given the way both teams looked last week, I'm picking the Dolphins to keep rolling and move to 2-3, while Carolina stumbles to 1-4. Denver shocked everyone in Week 4 by dismantling Cincinnati 28-3, a game that was completely one-sided from the opening whistle. The Bengals managed just 9 first downs all night and never crossed into Denver territory after their opening drive, while the Broncos' front 7 dominated the line of scrimmage and made Jake Browning look completely overwhelmed. Offensively, Denver capitalized on short fields and rode a steady balance of ground production with explosive passes to break the game open. Philadelphia, on the other hand, kept their undefeated record intact with a hard-fought 31-25 win over Tampa Bay. Jalen Hurts controlled the tempo with his dual-threat ability, and the Eagles' offensive line once again imposed its will, though their secondary showed some cracks by allowing big plays late that nearly cost them the game. The contrast here is fascinating. Denver's defense is playing like it has something to prove, while Philly has looked the part of a complete contender but hasn't faced a front seven this hot yet. If the Eagles protect Hurts and let the running game eat clock, they'll keep control. But if Denver's defense carries its Week 4 energy into this matchup, they can make things ugly. I'm siding with the more consistent team here. I'm picking the Eagles to move to 5-0, while the Broncos slip to 2-3. The Texans secured their first win of the season with a dominant 26-0 shutout over the Tennessee Titans in Week 4, where quarterback C.J. Stroud completed 22 of 28 passes for 233 yards and 2 fourth-quarter touchdowns, while rookie running back Woody Marks contributed with 69 yards and both a rushing and receiving touchdown. The defense was equally impressive, limiting the Titans to under 200 total yards and forcing multiple turnovers. The Baltimore Ravens, on the other hand, suffered a 37-20 loss to the Kansas City Chiefs, with quarterback Lamar Jackson exiting in the third quarter due to a hamstring injury after throwing for 147 yards and a touchdown. Backup quarterback Cooper Rush struggled to maintain offensive momentum, and the defense allowed 4 touchdown passes from Patrick Mahomes, including a 250th career touchdown pass. Given the Texans' strong performance and the Ravens' injury concerns, I'm picking Houston to win, moving to 2-3, while Baltimore falls to 1-4. The Titans are still searching for their first win after being shut out 26-0 by the Houston Texans in Week 4, where rookie quarterback Cam Ward completed just 10 out of 26 passes for 108 yards and was sacked 5 times. Defensive tackle Jeffrey Simmons allocated a record-setting 2.09 second sack, which is the fastest recorded in the NFL over the past 2 seasons. The offense struggled to establish any rhythm, with no red zone appearances and only 10 first downs, while kicker Joey Sly missed 2 field goals, compounding the team's woes. On the other hand, the Arizona Cardinals lost a close game with the Seattle Seahawks, falling 23-20, where quarterback Kyler Murray threw for 220 yards and 2 touchdowns but was intercepted once, and the defense allowed a game-winning field goal drive in the final minutes. Despite flashes of potential, the Cardinals couldn't capitalize on key moments, leading to their second loss of the season. Looking ahead, both teams are eager to turn their seasons around, but the Titans' offensive struggles and the Cardinals' inability to close out games give Arizona a slight edge. I'm picking Arizona to win, moving to 3-2, while the Titans remain winless at 0-5. The Bucs are coming off a narrow 31-25 loss to the Philadelphia Eagles in Week 4, where quarterback Baker Mayfield threw for 280 yards and 2 touchdowns, including a 77-yard strike to rookie wide receiver Emeka Egbuka and a 72-yard connection with running back Bucky Irving. However, the offense struggled early with a blocked punt and a 24-3 deficit, and a late-game interception in the end zone thwarted a potential comeback. Kicker Chase McLaughlin made history with a 65-yard field goal as time expired in the first half, marking the longest field goal ever in an outdoor stadium. The Seattle Seahawks, on the other hand, secured a 23-20 victory over the Arizona Cardinals, where quarterback Sam Darnold threw for 241 yards and a touchdown, and kicker Jason Myers nailed a 52-yard game-winning field goal as time expired. The defense made key stops in the final minutes to preserve the win. Looking ahead, both teams are eager to rebound, and while the Buccaneers have a potent offense, the Seahawks' balanced attack and clutch performances give them the edge in this matchup. I'm picking Seattle to win, moving to 4-1, while Tampa Bay falls to 3-2. Detroit flexed their muscle in Week 4, steamrolling Cleveland 34-10 in a game where their offense fired on all cylinders and their defense shut down the Browns' run-heavy approach. Jared Goff distributed the ball with poise, the running game behind Jahmyr Gibbs kept the chains moving, and Amon-Ra St. Brown once again proved impossible to cover in the slot. On the other side, Cincinnati looked completely lifeless in their 28-3 loss to Denver. Jake Browning and the Bengals offense never found rhythm, finishing with just 9 first downs and failing to cross midfield after their opening drive. The lack of explosive plays without Joe Burrow at the helm has been glaring, and the offensive line did little to protect Browning or create lanes for Chase Brown. This matchup pits one of the NFC's most balanced attacks against a Bengals team still trying to find its identity without its star quarterback. Unless Cincinnati's defense can steal possessions with turnovers, Detroit should control this game from start to finish. I'm picking the Lions to move to 4-1, while the Bengals stumble to 2-3. The Commanders are looking to bounce back after a 34-27 loss to the Atlanta Falcons in Week 4, where backup quarterback Marcus Mariota threw for 156 yards and 2 touchdowns, but also had 1 interception. The offense showed resilience with Mariota connecting with Luke McCaffrey for a 5-yard touchdown and Deebo Samuel for a late fourth-quarter score, but the defense struggled to contain Falcons quarterback Michael Penix Jr., who threw for 313 yards and 2 touchdowns, and running back Bijan Robinson, who accounted for 181 total yards and a touchdown. The Los Angeles Chargers, on the other hand, fell 21-18 to the New York Giants, where quarterback Justin Herbert threw for 220 yards and 2 touchdowns but was intercepted once, and the offense failed to convert in the red zone, settling for field goals instead of touchdowns. The defense allowed a late touchdown drive that sealed the loss. Looking ahead, both teams are eager to rebound, and while the Commanders have a balanced offensive attack, the Chargers' experience under Justin Herbert and their ability to move the ball efficiently in tight situations give them the edge in this matchup. I'm picking Los Angeles to win, moving to 4-1, while Washington drops to 2-3. The Patriots are set to face the undefeated Bills on Sunday Night Football in Week 5. In their previous game, the Patriots secured a dominant 42-13 victory over the Carolina Panthers, with quarterback Drake May throwing for 203 yards and 2 touchdowns, while wide receiver Stephon Diggs recorded 6 receptions for 101 yards, marking his first 100-yard game since 2023. Defensively, cornerback Christian Gonzalez made a successful return from a hamstring injury, contributing to the team's strong performance. The Bills, on the other hand, remain unbeaten after a 31-19 win over the New Orleans Saints, with quarterback Josh Allen throwing for 280 yards and 3 touchdowns, and running back James Cook adding over 100 rushing yards and a touchdown. The Bills' offense has been explosive, leading the AFC East with a 4-0 record. Looking ahead, the Patriots will need to capitalize on their recent momentum and execute a balanced game plan to challenge the high-powered Bills' offense. Given the Bills' current form and home field advantage, I'm picking Buffalo to win, moving to 5-0, while New England falls to 2-3. Kansas City Chiefs are coming off a dominant 37-20 victory over the Baltimore Ravens in Week 4, where quarterback Patrick Mahomes threw for 270 yards and 4 touchdowns, including his 250th career touchdown pass, and wide receiver Xavier Worthy made a successful return from injury with 121 total yards on 7 touches. The Chiefs' offense was efficient, converting all 4 of their 4th down attempts and committing no turnovers, while the defense sacked Ravens quarterback Lamar Jackson 3 times and forced 2 turnovers. The Jacksonville Jaguars, on the other hand, secured a 26-21 win over the San Francisco 49ers, with running back Travis Etienne rushing for 124 yards and a touchdown, and quarterback Trevor Lawrence connecting with tight end Hunter Long for a key 4-yard touchdown. The Jaguars' defense capitalized on 4 49ers turnovers, leading to 17 points, and defensive tackle Eric Armstead sealed the game with a strip sack of 49ers quarterback Brock Purdy. Looking ahead, the Chiefs' high-powered offense and improved defense give them the edge in this matchup. I'm picking Kansas City to win, moving to 3-2, while Jacksonville falls to 3-2.